Merv, Neal is a businessman, so I've known him for about 10 years. As far as I'm aware, he is the, by far, most successful laughter professional working in businesses in the world. And I can quantify, Merv has an average of flies on business, for business, so to do offer laughter presentations, an average of twice a week. Every week. Consistently. And so Merv is going to tell us more about, so the title of his presentation this afternoon is The Roadmap of a Laughter Business, the Essential Do's and Don'ts. Merv, Neal, take it away. Whoa!
Thank you so much, Sebastian, and once again, apologies for not being able to make it this year. Life throws us challenges, and for the first time, I think, in 7 years, I couldn't be with you all this year. So I give my fondest, best wishes to those who I would normally have met again, and they know who they are, and to the new folks, I hope you come back next year, and I hope I have the opportunity to meeting with you next year. We've just had our conference. Sebastian and I started the conferences some 10 years ago, and it's just wonderful to get people from all around Australia and all around America and all around the world together, and certainly technology assists us in doing this. So the ability to have Skype presentations, we had Sebastian and Linda Leclerc Skype in, and it just adds a whole new element to the communication and connection throughout the laughter community. So whilst this is not as good as being there in person, I certainly am privileged, Sebastian, to be asked again to present on my favourite topic, which is business and taking laughter to business and establishing a service business around the concept of laughter. So if I can just start by a show of hands, can I just see who here would like to make a little bit of money out of this laughter thing? Okay, cool. So that's good. It's very positive. At one stage, it was a bit of a taboo, and everybody goes, "No, you can't make money out of it." You know, it's okay to pursue some commercial opportunities. Can I have a show of hands, those people who would like to make a lot of money out of it? Okay, well, here's the disappointment. It's probably not going to happen. I've owned and operated many businesses over the 42 years of my business career, and this would have to be one of the most challenging and possibly one of the most difficult, but that's only because it's in its infancy. It's coming around to maturity at the moment where people are much more accepting of what it is we're doing. With only 4 months of this new financial year underway, this is by far and away going to be the most successful and rewarding for myself, and that's highlighted by something like 26 plane flights in 24 weeks. So my clients just seem to want this stuff. It doesn't matter where they are, and they want me to come and present this laughter stuff to them all over Australia and sometimes overseas. So I know how business works, and it's a really, really good market to get into now if you would like to make a little bit of money, and the opportunities will only grow from here. But there's some things, fundamental things, and this is what I'm going to cover in the next 43 minutes that I have with you all, and that's just some fundamentals about how to create a service business. So even if you're not into the laughter full-time or only part-time at the moment, you're into Reiki or naturopathy or physiotherapy or something like that, these principles apply for any service business. So for those of you who would like to make a little bit of money, if you want to get your notepads ready, I'm just going to share a few insights and hopefully even take some questions from the floor if you have any burning questions, knowing that I am available through email at any time. And I really do have a passion and desire to develop good business people presenting to commercial organisations with this laughter wellness and laughter yoga concept, because the more professionals that we have doing it more professionally, the better it will be for me, the better the experience for the client, and the better for everyone who's been involved. So I want to start with the 5 stages of developing a service business. And the very first stage that you need to be aware of is something called strategy. Now, when we talk about strategy, it's about having a point of difference, a unique selling proposition, USP, or other business words that are used, but it's about standing out from the crowd. Now, it doesn't mean that you will be successful. It just means that you will stand out from the crowd. Because if you don't stand out from the crowd, you get lost in the crowd. And what's really interesting, certainly here in Australia and the other business people that I talk to with laughter yoga around the world and laughter wellness around the world, is that commercial organisations, and especially in the health industry, are looking for anything. They call it alternative, I call it complementary. So our competition is not other people who are actually working in the laughter area. It's other things such as physiotherapy, naturopathy, chiropractic, Reiki. All of these modalities are being embraced, especially into the health and to the commercial world as we speak. So you don't just have to stand out from your own tribe, but you have to stand out from the others. And that's what having a strategy is all about. I've been working with Sebastian, apart from him being my absolute best friend and laughter brother, with his business as well too. And what excited me so much about his business was his online concept, because that makes him unique. It makes him and his concept absolutely unique. And of course, his work that he does is first class. So if you haven't looked at it, I encourage you to look at the online packages that he has and offer them to others who may be interested. But that's what made him absolutely unique. And that's what I'm talking about with the strategy. Linda Leclerc with the Ha Ha Sisterhood and her ability to take her professional concepts into workplaces in Canada makes her unique. She's the only person who stands out, who's doing what she's doing the way that she's doing. And of course, Dr. Kataria, the founder of Laughter Clubs, once again is quite unique because he came up with a very unique idea. So what I encourage you all to do is get that point of uniqueness. You are unique, but is it the way that you develop your programs? Is it the way that you deliver your programs? Is it cost? It's okay to have a strategy around cost, although that can be rather challenging because, you know, there's only one person that can actually be the cheapest. Could it be around quality of what you do, or could it be around the value that you provide? And I'm going to present at the end of this session just a couple of ideas about how to provide more value. So the best businesses that I know do something really, really well. So if I mention the word Apple, what would you think of? Anybody at all? Apple is actually a fruit. But they have developed such a unique concept and a unique strategy that when we think of Apple, we think of fruit or computers. Does that make sense? All right, so this is what the really amazing organisations who are really successful do. They have the ability to create a point of difference. Google is another one. Facebook is another one. Amazon is another one. Now, you might think, oh, yes, but they're so big and we're so small. But they all started small at some stage, but they had a unique selling proposition, a point of difference, or a strategy which makes them absolutely unique. And when you're unique, you become special and you stand out from the crowd. I'd like you all just to take 1 minute, for those who are interested, and just write down what you believe your strategy going forward is to be able to stand out from the crowd. Just take a minute just to write a couple of lines. Okay, cool. Now, it's okay not to have a strategy, but if you don't have a clear strategy, you have a default strategy, and it's good luck or hard work. And I personally don't like either of those because it's leaving too much to chance and you can suffer burnout. So the first one, first S for developing a service business is strategy. The second one is standards, STANDARDS. So this is all about quality, and the quality of your work is determined by the presentations that you do. Now, whether you're doing training or professional development days or conference speaking, whatever it is you're doing, you have to have really, really good quality. And the only way that I know that you can do that is professional development. So when I started on my laughter career or journey back in 2003, I was sick in 2002. I got well with the help of laughter. So in 2003, I started out on this journey. It was all about being the best that I could possibly be in this new era that I was. So I joined the National Speakers Association, and I was a member there for some 8 years. And throughout that 8 years, it was all about professional development. It was learning from the best about how to be the best. And too often we think that, you know, what we have is okay, but from a customer's point of view, they are always wanting better quality, better quality, better quality. And to do that, it's all about your presentations and the way that you present yourself off the stage as well as on the stage, as I'm doing now. The other thing is your flyers and your handouts. So this comes down to the merchandise that you have. What's the quality of those flyers and handouts that you have? If it's cheap and nasty, people see you as cheap and nasty. So this is all about having high standards and wanting to impress the client, to use a better term. Your other marketing material, and there's lots of it. There's YouTube channels, there's Facebook pages, there's websites. All of this marketing material, once again, reflects back onto the client the standards that you are likely to impose on them or to present to them when you're actually doing your work. Your products is a really, really interesting one. If you're going to have products, please have good quality products. Don't have poor quality products, because once again, it reflects badly on you. Now, the good news is there's people out there delivering apps. Oh, what was that?
Someone sneezed.
Oh, ha 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 ha. Once again, you know, if you don't have good quality products, the good news is there are people around us developing really good quality products. So the app that Linda launched at our conference is a good quality product. At the moment, it's the only app around, so therefore it makes it the best. But that, to me, is a very easy sell for any presentations, and I've already spoken to Linda about this, about if I was to go and do a presentation, can I just offer the people her app, because no way known am I ever going to have an app that is as good a quality as that. And then the other thing, of course, about your standards is your testimonials from your clients. So it's really, really good for you to go out there and say how good you are, and it's really good for your mum to say how good you are and your best friends how good you are. But at the end of the day, it's what your clients say about you. And I highly recommend that you get a video testimonial from your clients to be used, not necessarily in a public forum, but to be kept away so that when a like-minded organisation is looking for a high-quality person like yourself to present or work with them on laughter, you can say, yes, well, here's what another business just like you has said. You may like to make this note in summary. The customer determines quality, you don't. All right, we keep on thinking that our quality is determined by us. It's not. The customer determines quality, you don't. So be the best that you can and make sure that your customers believe that you are the best that you can possibly be. The third S in developing a service business is structure, S-T-R-U-C-T-U-R-E. So it's really interesting about having a structure. In my other business, we had an organisational structure. I sat at the top. There was executives and managers sat below, and then there was people, team leaders, and then there was people who worked going down. So it's an organisational structure. When you are by yourself, as so many of us are, you need to surround yourself with other people and actually create a hierarchy of people. So here in Australia, we have a national body, and that national body is Laughter Yoga Australia. So we are seen to have a national body for anybody wanting to make inquiries anywhere in Australia and New Zealand. They will generally come to a central platform, which is myself, from where they get distributed. We also have it at a state level. So we have Laughter Clubs Victoria, we have Laugh WA, we have Laughter Clubs Brisbane. We have different bodies in each state. So this is creating a persona that we are bigger than what we are. Then when we come down to a local level, we actually have the laughter clubs themselves, and then we have social clubs outside of the laughter clubs. Now, the other thing that we've done is we've created a commercial structure of presenters. So what we have, if people come to us looking for a presenter, we have 3 tiers. We have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. The tier 1s are the people who are qualified and experienced enough to present at conferences. The tier 2 are the ones that are qualified and confident enough to go into commercial organisations and command a reasonable fee and do a reasonable job. And then we have tier 3 presenters who will go out and do the very low paid and community and free gigs. And to be clear, I still do my fair share of free gigs if the situation arises. But that's worked really well because we have a national body, we have state bodies, we have local bodies, but then in the presenters that are being offered, we have 3 tiers showing that we have a really good structure. I have another saying that says if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with others. So I want you to think of the concept of what structure could you build around you, even though you are only a single operator. The 4th S of helping you develop a service business is systems, SYSTEMS. So these systems encompass a variety of things. They encompass invoicing. This helps you manage your cash flow, accounting, these sorts of things, your bookkeeping. So it's really good to have really good systems around that because it's really, really important that you keep an eye on the money because at the end of the day, the money is the driver of your success or failure. Nobody wants to go broke and it's all because of the money. Proposals. This is something that I've had several inquiries about recently. Someone's asked me for a proposal. What do I do? Well, once again, this comes back to the quality of your business in having a really good proposal where you can actually just fill in a few gaps and then and the price on the bottom and submit it to them. So in your systems, I want you to have lots and lots of templates that actually save you time, that are very, very professional and can be very, very quick to market. So if someone says to me, here's a lead, let's have a discussion about it, can you send me a proposal? I can usually have that proposal to them within half an hour, provided I'm sitting at my desk. I can just drag out my proposal template, fill in the details, send it off to them, and the job is done. The other thing is emails, having your emails in a basic format. This enables you to follow up as well. So if you send an email, you should be able to set up your email system to alert you that a follow-up email is required. Once again, Sebastian's doing a lot of work on his online training with email follow-ups to make sure that people have the imposed discipline upon them to make sure that they do what they say they're going to do. And pricing is another one. So you need systems where if a client calls you, you don't fumble around and go, oh, I really don't know how much to charge you. You need to have a systematic approach to how much you're going to charge the person depending on what the requirements are. So once again, it's all about speed and efficiency, which is very, very impressive as far as the client's concerned. Pricing, I get lots of inquiries from all over the world. I'm about to do this presentation. How much should I charge? Well, that's easy, as much as you can. But that's not always the case because the client doesn't necessarily have as much as they can and you haven't defined it. So what actually defines your pricing is your business plan, and not a lot of people understand that in your business plan you actually determine the forecast budget for the next 12 months, and that's where your pricing is set. So if you don't have a business plan, you're really just picking things out of fresh air and maybe missing some opportunities about what you really should be valuing yourself at. The other 2 systems that you need is a business plan and a marketing plan. So these are merely documents. These are merely documents that you create, and it's your thoughts on paper about how you're going to achieve your vision, because it's all about that vision, and how you're going to make enough money to sustain yourself in this laughter service business. So I have 2-day business training that's available to be done online as well too. I've done it around the world as well as face-to-face, and it covers all of those elements, especially around a business plan, a marketing plan, having a bio that you can send to people very, very quickly to impress them. I also have a bio video that works very, very well, especially at the conferences, and increasing those presentation skills because it's all about speed and efficiency, and this comes back to the professionalism and the adequacy of your systems. There's something else Linda Leclerc may or may not have mentioned to you as yet. There's a concept being created will be launched very soon about having access to business experts such as myself. And it's a structured program where people can sign up for a year and actually get access to a business expert who will help you on your commercial journey. And that will be launched in the very near future, so keep an eye out for that. It's for people who are, let's use the word, serious about making the most of the commercial opportunities that are out there. And the very last S, so we've got strategy, standard, structure, systems, and we have support. All right, so these are the 5 S's that you need to have a sustainable service business. Now, this support is very much about after you've done whatever it is you've done to them, how do they keep in touch with you? So how do they know about you? What can you do for them? What can you supply for them? And the easiest one that I find is still a newsletter. People still work on newsletters. There was a phasing away from them at one stage there, and people didn't want newsletters. Now they do want newsletters again. So I still have a monthly newsletter, goes out to about 1,500 people, and it just keeps them up to date with all of the things that are going on about myself, the organisation at a state, national level, and certainly the last one was about our conference, which will be released shortly. Social media is another way of keeping in touch. At the moment, we had a brilliant presentation by our social media and blogging expert, Connie Costa, at our conference. And social media is the new way of keeping in touch with people. So if you go beyond Facebook catch-ups and chats and personal things, it has a real business application in being able to keep in touch with your business people. Now, they will follow you if you're on Twitter, or they will receive alerts when you update something on Facebook, but it has to be about them. And that's the trick with social media. Some of you may be on a thing called LinkedIn. That works fairly well as well, because that's people who are service professionals who are dealing with the markets that you possibly want to be dealing with. So LinkedIn is a very good way to identify 4 or 5 people to be linked in to, who are doing similar things to yourself, who you can network with to be able to gain more work. Some of my clients, after I've been to a client, I will get a request from one of the executives there to be linked in to me. So that indicates to me that it was a good quality presentation and they actually want to be linked to me at a business level. So keep an eye out for that one. Media and columns is still out there as well too. So the more media that you can do, you can actually include that into your newsletter, into your social media. So none of this should be done in isolation to the other things. It's a package that you supply about having a newsletter, having social media, being on LinkedIn, and then getting the message out to them. And the last one is blogs. People are really, really interested now on hearing informative and well-researched information from experts in the field. So writing a blog is something I do once a month as well too. It doesn't take a lot of time because I'm just making notes as I go throughout the month, but writing a blog is another way of keeping in touch with your existing clients. And there's a saying that I have, milk the cow, don't keep hunting. We tend to go out there hunting for more animals. You have the cow there. It's already been used once. You should be milking the cow. And you do that by keeping in touch with your existing clients. And you'll find that that will provide you with a very, very easy and very safe ongoing revenue stream. So they're the 5 S's: strategy, standard, structure, systems, and support. If there's something in there that's resonated where it needs work, don't try and do it all at once. Go out and identify one of those areas of weakness and start working in that area. The other thing that I want to cover is the concept of value. Now, I want to give you the 5 steps of how to provide value, especially of laughter services. Now, the interesting thing about value is it's a smokescreen. It's a perception. It's not real. Value is not real. You can't touch it. You can't grab it. You can't put it in your pocket. It's not real. It's a perception. And the perception is of money well spent. All right, so I'm the client and business is a game of money. I have the money and, you've got to get it off me. You've got to get it off me. So you have to be very convincing about the value that you can provide that client so that they think that it's money well spent. Now, Sebastian, I still have your $1 million that you gave me here last year. I haven't spent it as yet, but I will one day. So if you imagine that the client's got $1 million to spend and he's going to give it to someone. They give it to someone. How are you going to get it off them? And that is value. So the other word that's confused with value is a thing called return on investment, which is cost. All right, so the cost is how much the client has to outlay to get that money back. A good business person wants 3-to-1 money back. So if I'm going to spend $1, I want at least $3 back. That to them is a good return on investment, but it's not value. Value is about satisfying their needs and want and perception. So here's some ideas about how you can provide value to the clients, which of course increases your cost. And the first one is to find out who they are. So create a target market. Create a target market. In the early days, we will go out there and we'll sell ourselves and our services and our products to the first person who walks past who has their wallet open. But ultimately, you want to really drill down on a target market. There's 5 that I know of, and that is the business market. All right, so there is the commercial market out there. There is the health market out there. Now, in Australia, there's an issue with funding of the health market, but the more people that get sick, the bigger that market increases, and the more funds are being spent and wasted on things that just aren't working well. So I see the health market as a huge one. The aged care market, we are living longer and unhealthier. I was on the stage with a notable presenter, Dr. John Tickell, just recently. He's the one who coined the phrase and wrote the book, "You Can't Have Too Much Laughter, Sex, Vegetables and Fish." You may have heard of that quite outstanding book. And he said it's not about life expectancy, it's about health expectancy. I'm going, oh, wow, that really resonates with me. He said nobody wants to live to 100 if they're going to spend the last 30 years of their life on a dialysis machine or in a hospital bed. It's all about health expectancy. So with that message, you can go to the aged care, which is growing all the time, and say, you're not here about extending people's life, you're here about extending the health within their life. And I think that's a really strong message. Schools are all over this stuff at the moment. All of the schools are right into this, and that's not my target market. So I farm most of those opportunities out to some of our laughter people who are teachers, and they go out and do the schools. And of course, there's disability, mental and physical. So the message that I usually give to people is go where you've always been. So I've always been in business, so I should go back to business. If you've been a health professional in some capacity, maybe your calling is in the healthcare industry. If it's in aged care, if you're a teacher, go to where your calling's always been. That's the easiest way to identify with that market and to be able to present yourself to that market. The other thing, be aware of what's happening. Are they growing? Are they downsizing? So where are they trending on the business cycle? Is the industry that you're in trending up or trending down in regards to their needs and wants? Certainly those ones that I mentioned with what we have to offer seem to be trending up at the moment, and I think that's why I'm on a plane every second day. Second thing you need to know about providing value is what are their problems? All right, so you've clearly identified with them. Now you have to clearly identify their problems. And these are what they call wants. And then we satisfy them with the need. And that's the difference between the two. So with the problems in corporate is stress, resilience, mindfulness. These are all the big buzzwords. These are the problems they're having at the moment. In health, it's about healing and therapy. So you'll see more about Sebastian's therapy training that he'll be launching next year. I hope I'm not giving too much away there. And we're doing exactly the same here in Australia to create professionals to be able to go into the health industry. In aged care, I presented at the Council of the Ageing Australia conference just a couple of months ago, and the number one problem facing our aged care people is connection. It's social isolation. It's not anxiety, it's not depression anymore, it's social isolation. So because there's a lack of aged care facilities, we are telling the oldies, and I am one of them, to stay in their homes. You know, there's no room, stay in your homes. But that's enhancing the problem of social isolation. So we know that laughter connects people. So there's a big message that we can provide in regarding a solution to their problem. Schools, bullying and self-esteem are the big ones that I keep on hearing from. So these are their problems. Understand their problems and what's causing them, because as soon as you do, you can come in with the solution, and the solution is laughter. And with disability, it's all about neuroplasticity, so very much about reactivation of the body through the mind and reactivation of the mind, especially with Alzheimer's, acquired brain injuries and these things. You know, you've got to understand the problems that these industries are facing. And once you do and become an expert on talking about their problems and then providing the solution to the problems, you have their attention. And this is about providing value to the client. So what are their problems? What are your solutions? All right, so who are they? What are their problems? But what are your solutions? And you can provide these solutions in different ways. You can provide it in a keynote at a conference, which is generally where I get flown to a different state or country to do. You can provide it with icebreakers. You can do workshops, 1.5-hour workshops, half-day workshops, 8-week programs, one-to-one coaching. I created a blog recently. It's on the Laughter Yoga International website. You can just look up bloggers and Merv, Neal. And I've found a way to create 3,125 programs easily. All right, so with 3,125 programs developed, you can virtually satisfy any problem with a solution to any client, anytime, anywhere. So I encourage you to have a look at that when you have a moment. Fourth thing about creating value is expectations. So don't just meet expectations, exceed expectations. So to do this, don't do a good job, do a great job, please. So it gets back to that quality thing again. We really need much better quality in the people that are going out there and presenting and working with our clients with this laughter stuff. You need to be very specific. I've created a list of 23 questions that I ask every client to really, really understand what their expectations are. And we go through each and every one of those questions. It comes across to them that I am so professional, I'm leaving no stone unturned. And more importantly, I'm creating this perception. Value is a perception. I'm creating this perception that it's specifically tailored exactly to them, which it is with one of the 3,125 programs that you can create. I will sometimes do a PowerPoint just to give to them afterwards. Value, all right, so you can have this PowerPoint presentation. I will give it away to you. It's a perception of value. I always take hints and tips sheet. Excuse me, I'll be back. So we have different flyers created like this, and these are just little simple hints and tip sheets. And the good thing about these is you can actually fold them on the line and sit them on your desk. So I go back to clients time and time again, and here are our little 7 simple ways to reduce stress through laughter. And we just give these out at the conferences. You get them done in bulk, high quality hints and tip sheet that they can take away and sit on their desk forever. I tell the client ahead of time, everyone will get one of these high-quality hints and tip sheets. It's a perception. It's creating value. It's creating the thought that they're getting more than if they were just to have somebody else say, yeah, we'll just turn up and do what we do and disappear. Always ask for feedback. Don't be so arrogant or ignorant to go, wow, I was fantastic, without actually finding out from the client. You may get another story from the client. It doesn't always happen with myself because I work very hard at it and go through this process to provide such great value. But when it does, it's a huge learning. It's a huge learning. Go, wow, what happened there? What happened there? So don't be afraid to ask for feedback. I do not hand out feedback sheets. I merely go up to the person who employed me, and say, how did we go? Was that above and beyond what you expected? And if the answer is yes, I walk out of there happy regardless of what happened in that presentation. And I always give a gift. Hang on, I'll be back again. Highly prepared via Skype. So I have my CD. Some of you may have it. People say that it's really quite good. I'm happy to send you one if you send me lots and lots of money. The important thing about this is I just open it up like this, and on the inside cover I write, Dear Sebastian, thank you so much for allowing me to present to your group. Keep laughing, Merv, Neal, October 2015. And I just give that to them, and they think, oh, this is so wonderful. And yeah, it's a perception. It's creating a perception that I have given you so much value. I think it cost me $2, but their perception is that they've gotten takeaway hints and tip sheets. It was designed just for them. They got a little gift at the end. Everybody got something to take away. And that's the concept of creating value. And the fifth thing about creating value is your behaviour. Were you easy to deal with, or were you hard to deal with? And that's a great value to the client if you were just so easy and so flexible. So you did what you said you'll do and not just what you thought you would do. So it's about just behaving in an appropriate way. So write down your values. I like people to say that I'm easy to deal with. That was fun. It was professional friendly, and it's about being disciplined. So I'm looking for fun, professional, and friendly. They're the three values that I work with my clients on. And if I don't get feedback saying you were so easy to deal with, that was fun, it was professional and friendly, I get a little bit disappointed, because that to them is huge value, because I've got enough problems as it is without actually adding you to their list of problems. All right, so there's 5 hints and tips about how you can provide value, because the more value you provide, the higher your cost can be. And this is the last one that Sebastian asked me to throw in just at the last minute, and it's about lead generation. So I'm going to give you, once again, 5 ideas. Everything's done in 5s because we have 5 fingers on our hands, so I think that's why we do that. And here's 5 ideas about how to generate leads. And the first one, and it's a brand new one, it is through social media. So the people who are doing social media really, really well at the moment, and I'm not, I'm on it, I do it, but I don't do it really, really well, are starting to get leads through social media. So I think that's something new that's only going to grow and get bigger, that we should all be aware of. The other more traditional one is through Google, so SEO, search engine optimization. People still go searching on Google for different people. That can be quite expensive, but it's certainly a way to generate leads. You must be at least on the front page. So to do that, I will link in with other people's websites who do have high rankings. So I have 3 or 4 people whose website acts as my website when it comes to search engine optimization to put me up to the front there. So I will get an amount of work through Google. I don't get any through social media at the moment, but I know other people are. And the other new and emerging one is YouTube. I think it's really, really interesting that people are now starting to search through YouTube. So they don't go to Google anymore, they go to YouTube. So I have my brand new Apple iPhone 6 here, and I brought it home and I didn't know how to change the SIM in it from my old iPhone to that. Normally you would have gone to Google, but I went straight to YouTube. And sure enough, here was a YouTube of someone telling me exactly what to do with a little video on YouTube, and it was so easy to do it, and all of a sudden my phone's up and running. Robert Rivest, I don't know if any of you know of Robert over in the States there. He, to me, is a YouTube legend. His strategy is to create a persona on YouTube, and boy, he does it well. He does it really, really well. People are starting to shop now through YouTube, so if you have a YouTube channel with some stuff of you doing whatever it is you're doing, hints, tips, ideas on YouTube, this is another way of generating leads. I get some through YouTube, and I certainly use it if I have a YouTube clip on my channel that I think a customer should see if they're thinking about using me, and this is where I put my video, my demo video. I will send it to them via YouTube, and that will get me a lot of work. Laughter clubs, put your hands up in the air. I can see 90% of you if you run a laughter club. Outstanding. Bless you, people. It's hard work. I've been doing it for many years now, and it's hard work, but it gives me leads. It gives me leads. Because what do? I advertise the laughter club for people to come along to the laughter club, and that gets seen by people. So I live right in Melbourne. Outside the door there is the Yarra River and Melbourne Central. So my laughter club is in Melbourne. So I'm surrounded by tens of thousands of business people, my market, and people who, like me, live in apartments, in high-rise apartments. So there's tens of thousands of people who see my flyer at the community hub because I run a laughter club, and they are my market. So don't underestimate the power of people hearing about your laughter club through the media and taking the message back. There's not a presentation that I don't do to commercial organisations where I don't promote my laughter club as a give back to the community, so that puts me in very good stead with organisations, and it also brings people to my laughter club. It's surprising how people come along and say, you know, I came to your laughter club because I saw you last week or a month ago. Someone come the other day, they said, you actually presented to us 2 years ago. And I said, wow. I said, that's amazing. And they come to my laughter club. So I said to her, Georgia was her name. I said, Georgia, I said, bring back some of your friends. And by the way, why haven't you had me back? So she said, I don't know. I'll go back to HR and I'll find out why we haven't had you back. So this is how laughter clubs can be used to actually generate leads. But the big thing, and it hasn't changed in the 42 years that I've been in business, is relationships. Now, I'm not talking about relationships on Facebook. I'm talking about face-to-face relationships. I wrote them down. I have relationships with, here it is again, with 5 organisations who just throw business at me and throw opportunities at me. They know who I am. They know the quality of what I do. They know the research studies that I've done into this stuff, and they will continue to put business my way and leads my way. I am the go-to person with 5 organisations who provide me so many leads, which I then, of course, turn into sales. So the concept that Sebastian wanted me to get across with this last little bit that he asked me to throw in at the end is it's not one thing that generates leads. Don't focus on one thing. You need to focus on a variety of things to be able to get things coming in at you from all angles, because I've got 5 minutes to go. That was my alarm going off. How professional of me. So I'm a professional. This is what I do. So it's about a multitude of things, and work out what's working now, knowing that it may not work in 6 or 12 months' time, but what's working now, do more of that. So don't go away and create a whole YouTube channel if that's not going to work for you. It's something that you should consider doing. Don't spend 2 hours a day twittering and on Facebook and creating blogs if it's going to generate 1 lead for you in 6 months. That's a waste of time. But you need to know that you need to do a little bit of that, because that's how people actually search for you. So I've given you 5 ideas of service business: strategy, standard, structure, systems and support. 5 ways of being able to add value, which is a perception, it's a smoke screen, and 5 ways that you might like to generate leads. And that, if you do all of those well with passion and discipline and commitment, will work. I will guarantee you it will work, because that's how business works. Sebastian, I now have 4 minutes. Would you like to throw it open for questions? Or if not, I will sign off and I'll leave you be.
Yes or no?
Yes.
They say yes.
Go.
So off you go. Come here. So if you have a question, you can come up, make a queue. You can make a queue.
I need their name.
Yeah, they come to see you.
Hi, Merv. I'm Judy Newman, and you just had me friend you on LinkedIn.
Oh, I'll look for that.
Okay. My question is, I approached somebody for laughter yoga, and the response was, oh, that's very good. We'll try and get back with you sooner rather than later. Now my question is, how do I reapproach them with the wellness rather than laughter yoga? Because I can't say, well, laughter yoga is no good, but I have something that's more important.
Yeah, nice question. Nice question, Judy. Sit down. It's only so that I can see the other people, Judy. That wonderful, wonderful question. My instant thought was, why did you even mention laughter yoga? Why did you not mention wellness or well-being? So depending on who the client is that you are talking to, you've really got to know the language that's going to connect with them straight away. If I mention laughter yoga and someone goes, great, I'll get back to you, I would instantly think, Judy, ouch, why did I mention that? So I tend to, Judy and others, go in with workplace wellbeing programs. Now, it's all laughter yoga. Don't get me wrong. If I come across some other workplace wellbeing program stuff, I give it out to my friends through my connections that I was talking about before, the relationships. If they want chair massage, I'll give it out to them. So I go in with the solution, and the solution is workplace wellbeing. If I get a level of interest from them, I will then ask them, do they have a workplace wellbeing program? If they do, great, they are my target market. If they don't, I may or may not follow it up. So I would follow it up again, regardless of what the first response was, Judy, but always follow up. Don't just put it out there and not follow up. The second follow up, especially if they don't ring you back, will indicate clearly that you screwed up in the first case. But that's a learning and move on from it. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, Dick Ireland.
Dick,
do you have some thumbnail sketches on capitalization for a practice?
Oh, not really. No. Explain more clearly for me and the folks exactly what you mean by that.
How much money you need to get started?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you started to talk in my language, which is the simple language. Yes, I do. Thank you, Dick. Yes, what you need to do is work out how much it's going to cost you for the first year to do what it is you want to do. Now, Dick, that comes from your business plan. I'm sorry to harp on about this business plan thing, but your business plan states how much revenue you intend to make in the first year and how much it's going to cost you to make that revenue. It's your thoughts on paper. So what you do is you turn that into a dollar figure. Let's say it's going to cost $50,000 in the first year to make $100,000. Let's just say it's going to cost $50,000 to make $100,000. You then need to source from day one that $50,000 in cash, put it in a bucket in the corner, and be quite prepared to lose it all tomorrow. If you're not, you are underfunding or undercapitalising what it is you're trying to do. So it also takes all that focus away from money. Oh, focus on the money. Don't focus on the money. You have the money for the first year. You put it in a bucket. You're prepared to lose it tomorrow. Then you get on with doing all the things that I said that you need to do. Thanks for the question, Dick.
Thank you.
Can we get his email?
Yes. So can they get your email?
Yes, of course they can. I'm easy to find anywhere as soon as you go onto Google, but it's Merv Neal, MERVNEAL, at laughteryoga.org. And you have my permission at any time in the future to say that you heard me on Skype, via Skype at the conference, and could I please assist you in some way, and to the best of my ability I will. Because it's all about developing professionalism at an international level, and that's what I'm all about. And don't forget, there are those more formal programs of the Business Expert Program, the coaching and mentoring, my business training. We have therapy training. You've got online training. You've got all these other ways of having a structured path to growth and to success. But yes, please feel free to email me at any time.
All right, take a deep breath and go, wow! Merv, thank you. We'll talk later, but awesome.
Can I finish with one thing, please?
Yes, please.
This is my special laugh, so I want you all to put your wrists together like this. So this is my laughter that I often do, and put your thumbs together. And this is my money laughter, and we go, wah, ha, 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 ha.
Okay, thank you. Bye for now.